Today we'll be installing the rear brake kit on this 2024 Can-Am Maverick. Make sure before you get started that you've got your installation sheet and you've checked that all of the components and parts have come in your brake kit. Also, make sure that you've checked your wheel clearance diagram to make sure that your 15-inch and larger wheels fit this brake kit. We now have all of the rear brakes on this Maverick removed. We're gonna go ahead and get started and make sure you've got your installation sheet handy because there's gonna be a lot of things you need to look at. The first thing we need to do is clean all of the mounting locations on the spindle upright where the caliper bracket mounts and this hub assembly where the hat rotor is gonna slide over. The first part that we're going to install is our radial mount caliper bracket. You'll see that there's a machined side and a pretty much flat side. The machined side is going to go faced towards the spindle. We're going to bolt it up with the necessary hardware that came with the brake kit and get it hand tight and make sure that everything is mounted properly, secure, and flat without any obstructions between the caliper bracket and the spindle upright. We've now got our caliper bracket tightened up by hand onto the spindle or knuckle upright. Looking, we see no interference between the caliper bracket and the spindle upright. We're gonna go ahead and take out one of these bolts, one at a time, red Loctite them, then reinstall the bolt, torque them down to 35 foot-pounds. We're gonna go ahead and assemble the two-piece hat rotor lug drive assembly together. We're gonna take our hat assembly and turn it upside down like a cereal bowl. Then we're gonna take our rotor assembly, and you'll notice on these rotors that they're flat on both sides, so installing it either way will be fine. We'll get these lug drives to lay down inside of the lug drive hat. Once we know that the rotor is fully secure against the hat, we'll install our internal snap ring. Now that we have our two-piece lug drive assembly put together, we'll install it onto the factory hub using the OEM set screw and torque this set screw to the manufacturer's suggested torque spec. Let's go ahead and mount our radial mount caliper onto the assembly. What we want to do is make sure that we're mounting our radial studs through the bottom side of the caliper, just like this. Get the caliper flush, then use your hardened washer with your 6.3/8 nuts and tighten them by hand. Once we have the caliper mounted onto the radial mount bracket by hand, we'll set our torque wrench to 30 foot-pounds and torque both of these 3/8 nuts to that torque spec. We're ready to install our brake pads. We're gonna disassemble our 1/4-20 bridge bolt and spacer along with our caliper pad clip. We're now ready to install our brake pads. Make sure that you have the friction material facing the face of the rotor. Then reinstall your pad clip. At that point, put into place your bridge tube and reinstall your bridge bolt. Tighten this bridge bolt down till it's hand tight. As we do with every brake kit install, and especially now that we have the brake pads installed in the caliper, we want to make sure that everything is moving freely. And in this case, it is. Remove the decal over the inboard body of the caliper that shows the fluid inlet. This brake kit uses the factory steel braided line. Go ahead and use the banjo bolt that came with your caliper with the factory banjo line and put the line in the same place as it was stock. Tighten it by hand, making sure that you have the brass crush washers on each side of the banjo manifold. We've got our rear brake kit installed on this Can-Am Maverick. We're gonna go ahead and bleed the brakes on all four corners, starting with the rear. We're also gonna take a light bedding before we put it in a trailer and take it out to the desert and do a real bedding cycle on the brake pads and rotors to get them seated in. If you have any questions about this brake install or anything in general with Wilwood disc brakes, give us a call at 805-388-1188 or get a hold of us by wilwood.com.